It's still Spiders and Snakes.
Still Spiders and Snakes.
Yep.
14 years and counting.
Yeah, it's been a long one. We've been through every musical style, and the songs have kind of just filtered through. So now what we've kind of lasted as is we're now doing an acoustic duo. Timmy's doing all live percussion, and I'm doing acoustic, and we're kind of having a fun kind of 60s, 70s retro thing going on with songs that back in the 80s and 90s we did with raunchy distorted guitar and huge drums and massive production. And the only thing that survived through that whole period is our big hair.
Well, that's good. Nothing's wrong with big hair. Big hair actually makes a very big comeback, and it's real. I know.
Yeah, it's real hair.
It's not like you were balding in the 80s like some people, and all of a sudden you have a full head of hair, no suspension. Moving right along. You did not say that.
You can edit that, right?
You don't have to edit that at all, seriously. So let's go to some history here. No pun intended here. How did you guys meet, and what was the first band you guys were in? Did you meet like in Band Magazine?
He came to a barbecue, honestly. Reseda. A Valley freaking barbecue.
We were doing I was doing the Project London, which I initially started back in the late 70s with and everybody that made any platinum during the 80s was in that band in one configuration or another. Originally London was Nikki Sixx and myself. We had Blackie Lawless for a little while. We had Fred Corey from Cinderella. We had Axl. Axl was not in. Slash, sorry, Axl. Slash, Izzy. Izzy was in London for a while. Actually, Izzy wanted to get as a vocalist in our band a guy named Bill Bailey, who is Axl Rose.
Right.
That didn't work out. So anyway, we had a different guy, and it's a long story. But we've kind of had a train wreck history as a band throughout being in Hollywood and doing our thing. And so that's how Tim and I first met. We were doing, I think, configuration number 37 of London.
Right.
And he warned me, he said, Timmy, don't join this band. Don't join London.
Was it a kiss of death?
I don't know. As soon as I got on, the guy bailed. So like
yeah, I left the project.
Where did you go?
I started, well, I had never been a vocalist before. I'd always been a songwriter. And even when Nikki and I were doing London back in 78, 79, the band got huge because we got the guy from Motley Crue, Nigel Benjamin, who was the replacement for Ian Hunter, who joined the band, and we were doing massive sellout shows at the Starwood. Remember the Starwood Club back in the 70s?
I was in my diapers. I was in New York, so or kind of in my mom's room at that time.
Okay, so that was what was going on back in '79. It was a big glitter scene, and everybody was wearing makeup like Timmy.
Retro
glitter
baby,
makeup.
retro.
You know, you look a little bit like Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A young Eddie Van Halen or the old Eddie?
No, a hot Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, the hot one. The hot one. You got that.
So, what were your first thoughts when you joined the band?
That I'm joining this band with all this history, and I was the 13th drummer. I said, what am I getting into?
It was like Spinal Tap. But none of them got killed.
I was waiting to explode on the drum seat in the movie, like become little globule.
Yeah.
And shortly after, I rejoined Lizzie and Ultra Pop. And
yeah, I had left I left my own band. Now, in the late '80s, we were still doing London, but the music had all like kind of taken a left turn, and we were all, everybody was playing catch-up ball, trying to do super heavy metal, trying to jump on a bandwagon. And I know my roots have always been like British pop, you know, glitter rock, T-Rex, Sweet, that kind of rock and vocal. And so when I felt the band kind of going in a completely different direction, that's when we ended up in that movie, The Metal Years, The Decline of Western Civilization.
Yes.
And the project that's in that is very metal, and it really wasn't what I'm into. So right after that movie came out, I left my own band because I wanted to start doing my own vocals. And so Timmy joined when I left, so he ended up in London. I ended up starting a project called Ultra Pop, and then his relationship with that band fell apart. And
number 13, lucky number.
Yeah, really.
Figure.
I don't think that's a good
So him and I got together, and he joined my little project, Ultra Pop. Ultra Pop was doing great. We put out an independent album, which basically was me on my own, back in 1988, and that record did really well, and especially in England. It's like charted right alongside Iron Maiden with their big heavy metal, you know, Run for the Hills thing. So we were right there alongside with this very poppy T-Rex kind of album, which made no sense. But Malcolm Dome, the guy that reviewed it, said he just loved it. You know, this was so great. So Timmy became part of the project, and now we're in 1990. 89, 90, and then we decided to change the name of the project from Ultra Pop, which we thought was a little too campy, kind of, a lot of everybody thought we were kind of coming from some different place.
Too fluffy.
Too
fluffy. Very fluffy.
Ultra Pop.
Almost poppy.
Yeah, it was too poppy. So we changed the name to Spiders and Snakes, and we did get the idea from the Jim Stafford song. And 10 years later, we finally recorded the song Spiders and Snakes.
Now let me ask you this. Were you guys part of that whole pay-to-play rule up on the Sunset Strip at that time?
Never. Once.
No,
Why
we
does
never
everyone
paid.
say
Once.
never? Are you sure?
Do you mean by pay to play, mean buying tickets and then selling it?
Yes, like ticket seller, in other words.
Yeah, no, we never did that.
Did we
That's
ever
why-
whore ourselves out on the strip? No.
No, but I mean, no one, I've interviewed all these
We hoard
bands,
out a
none of
lot,
them
but
said
nothing to do with tickets.
that. Okay, that's another thing. How'd you guys make ends meet when you were in the band? Did you like hook up with strippers, prostitutes? Like, what'd you do?
Work. We had jobs.
What kind of
No.
jobs? Gil Turner's, a Rainbow?
I worked for Metal Blade Records.
Did
Yeah,
you
he
really?
was- he
Oh,
always
Metal
worked- he
Blade,
always
Lizzie
had-
Borden,
Yeah,
cool buddy. I
yeah.
love Metal Blade. Metal Blade rocks.
It was a cool job. You know,
Yes.
you could work in a band, you could have long hair,
Uh-huh.
and if you showed up on time and sold records, you had a job.
Now, did you like it there?
It was awesome. I learned a lot from Brian Slagle. He's a smart guy, and he's
Yes.
still making an impact on the scene.
Mhm.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Thanks for all the free CDs. Was I supposed to say that? Oh, shit. Anyway, and what did you do?
What did I do? Well, we toured a lot. So, I mean, my main thing was that even though you would have a project like Spiders and Snakes, or even the band London, there was so much of an underground buzz about that project from both the metal years and from just the fact that Nikki Sixx had been in the band that I wrote the song Public Enemy #1 that's on the first Motley album. So I had enough going on there that I could always put together a tour to get the band out on the road. So even though we'd be in town hitting the local club, you know, while all the other bands that I had played with, Nikki and all these guys would be at the arena, it's ironic that it's not that different. I mean, it's not that different that you're out there, you're doing the same thing, you're getting paid, and it was the late 80s, throughout the 90s, we really did, we kind of more or less lived on the whole 80s history of the project.
Sure, absolutely.
So I mean, as far as doing music, it's something that this band, between Tim and I, we put out almost a dozen albums, independent albums.
That's great.
And it's amazing. You actually can live on record sales, you know, if you're into it, and we're into it. It's what we do is music. So.
What do you do now, like besides music?
What do? I was the guy outside that you asked for the quarter.